Maybe. Well, come on, change colors. It says we're live.
Whatever.
Yeah.
If you would like to keep a roof overhead and the fire in the fireplace going because it's cold, donate here. And it's cold. King Harvest Grill Coffees.
Good stuff.
When it's 60 something degrees and the wind's blowing, get coffee. Talk to these guys. Tell them you heard about it from us. Smart ass t-shirts. Got over 100 now. Sure to be the one there you like. Among the Leaves tees. Let them know you heard about it from us.
Well, gentlemen, welcome to all of you. We have a stand-in for Cedar today. Cedar is out with a sinus headache, thanks to the weather. So AJ is sitting in for her.
Howdy.
My entire body hurts, so.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. We're supposed to only talk about good stuff.
I'm not dead.
Well, that was a short live stream.
Yeah. Next.
My body hurts, but I'm alive.
Yeah. I get to see the surgeon tomorrow, so that's a good thing.
There we go.
Hopefully with a surgery to come soon after. This weekend, if you're in San Antonio, Texas, Barnes & Noble, Rob Hampson, Mona Lisa Foster, Sandra Medlock will be doing a book signing.
Chris Smith, too, I think.
Chris Smith, yes. And get out, get a chance to see them. I'm sure they will be appreciative of it. And I will guarantee you'll have some fun because they are a hoot when they all get together.
Yeah, the After Dead Dog parties with Rob Hampson and Chris Smith are epic.
And if you weren't dead before, you are afterwards. We have had even more rain. I think right now we're either 6 or 7 inches over the predictions. We had another inch this morning, minimum. And we did not get hit as badly as Wichita Falls did.
According to the rain gauge at the raisin farm, and based on the always reliable interpretation of said rain gauge by the raisins, we had a total of 3 inches from midnight till in 12 hours. And the last hour of it was a full inch.
Yeah.
2 inches the first 11 hours with 1 inch the last hour.
Yeah, it was,
cow whizzing on flat rock.
Yeah. It was embarrassing, the cow this morning, trust me.
Yeah.
I looked out and went, can't see the neighbor.
Yeah.
It's raining.
Yeah.
Also cold. So those of you that gripe about the heat in Texas, well, right now it ain't hot.
It's currently 55 degrees. I'm wearing a hoodie, for God's sake.
But it does bring up an interesting point. We are coming up into summer.
Yeah.
And I was talking to my friend Tom Beatty this morning. And we're seeing more and more of the gun classes trying to move out of the dead summer time. Because,
really,
yeah, of the number of people that are getting dehydrated.
Oh.
I
would figure that. I was always told that majority were in the summer so that people who are taking their vacation could go to gun school.
Yep, but now they're moving them to September, October to get off of the midsummer because of the heat issues.
Not here in Texas. September is pretty damn hot.
Yeah. Well, but the other thing that Tom was talking about is they're seeing older people taking gun schools.
Yeah.
And as you get older, voice of experience here, it's easier to get dehydrated because we don't drink enough water.
Or if you had previous heat trauma.
Yes.
I've had 2 medically diagnosed heat strokes. So I get.
And what was the temperature in the machine rooms?
On a bitterly cold winter day down in the engine rooms, it might get down to 100.
Yeah. I remember a buddy of mine was on the America and saw him in Guam and went aboard, and he was a black shoe. and he took me down in the machine spaces. And where the EAL, engineering officer of the watch, stood, they had a canvas thing about 3 feet in diameter.
Lister bed?
Huh?
Lister bed?
No.
Oh.
A duct that
Oh.
went from the one cooling vent
Oh.
Probably a good 25 feet above his head.
25 feet above his head down, and it hung right at 7 feet. And they would stand in there, and they were still rotating the watch every 30 minutes.
Standing in the air conditioning.
Yeah, and it was 140 degrees.
Yeah,
and they were not underway.
That was just operating?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember one time on my second ship, the Wainwright out of Charleston, the motors for the forced air draft in the engine room died.
Oh, that's not fun.
Ooh.
Shot up over 140 degrees down in the engine rooms. Our watches were 15 minutes long.
Yeah.
I'm glad I wasn't that day. I was very glad I was not an electrician.
Yeah.
Because they were the ones up in the top of the engine room
Where heat rises.
fixing the motors.
Yeah. And Rick says, well, we had 30-degree seawater temps. Standing between the main engine turbines was nice. Asshole.
Understandable.
Which does bring up Pete Hegseth has put the cat amongst the pigeons, mandating a 20% reduction in 4-star admirals and generals to begin immediately.
The knives are coming out.
Yeah, because the fiefdoms, nobody wants to give up power.
Nobody wants to go on reserve either.
Well, they're not going to be reserved. They're going to be retired.
Nobody wants to be retired. They're too busy.
Oh no! The 20% reduction also applies to the reserves.
Yeah. So it's not just active duty. Nothing of any value lost. Good point, Rick. The issue is the fiefdoms that are going to be fighting.
Oh yeah.
You know, in the Army, it's armor versus
cavalry versus infantry versus field artillery.
Yeah, okay. All of the above.
Yeah. All combat arms are going to be.
Yeah. And now in the Navy, it's even worse because it's submarines versus ships versus air. But within air, it's fighters versus
everybody else.
Attack, fighter and attack versus helicopters versus land-based fixed wing.
Mm-hmm.
Transports.
Yeah, well, and P3s and UAVs.
I have long held that the 07 rank should be renamed.
Yeah.
For Navy, Coast Guard, Commodore, for Army, Air Force, Marine Corps, flat Brigadier, and then make anything above that a very rare duck indeed.
Yeah. Well, and thanks, John. I did appreciate that. I wrote a Substack post on that this morning. The other thing is, you know, this was supposedly fixed under DOTMA 1992, 91, 92. What it did was it fixed, quote, quote, the lower rank structures, 05 and below. Basically, and what that was designed to do was, as we call it in the Navy, the NAPA, Naval Academy Protective Association, was to take anybody that was prior enlisted out of the cycle to become a CO. Because, and I got this quote directly from a 2-star who was head of Navy personnel, we were taking, quote, too many CO slots away from the academy. Yeah. The same thing was happening in the Marine Corps. Same thing was happening in the Army. Air Force, who knows? Hey, James. Yeah.
Hey, James.
Marines are going to have a little bit different because they have air, infantry, and armor, such as it is.
Recon, Special Forces.
Yeah, well,
Special Operations.
Special Forces, all that comes under infantry, basically.
Okay.
But the one of the problems in the Marine Corps, a friend of mine ran across this. He was a Motor T guy. He was a Mustang, came up through the ranks, made major, and he went with First ID or with First Marines up to Baghdad with Mattis. Mattis picked him specifically as a major to run all combat logistics, and he pulled it off. But he rolled over when he retired into the acquisition procurement side, and he was telling me that the Marine Corps never got full rate production on anything approaching an MRAP because they kept changing the designs. Because every time somebody new came into the program, they would change the design.
Put their stamp on it.
Put their stamp on it.
If I'm ever elected emperor,
Yeah.
The various service academies will go away.
Yeah.
Service academies will go away, and the primary, if you're a Mustang, you get preference because the service academies, the ring knockers I've run across are not worth it. I'm sure there's some good ones, just the ones I've run across, not worth it.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, the ROTC guys beat the West Point guys hands down.
Mhm.
VMI, I had one VMI officer who wasn't bad, but the ROTC cadets beat the and Mustangs. Best officer I had were all Mustangs.
Well, and you talk about that, you got VMI, you got Citadel, and you got Norwich. All three of those basically are Army. Armor goes basically to Norwich, or it comes from Norwich. VMI is mostly, I think, infantry, because the 2-3 VMI graduates I know all went to infantry or sappers. And then the folks that went through Citadel all tended to go Cav. So yeah, it's really interesting.
I said, I think 07 should be renamed Commodores and Brigadiers, not Brigadier General, just Brigadier, because you stick General on there and everybody gets their noses start.
Yeah.
It's the Brigadiers and Commodores.
Yeah.
And if you need a flag rank, they're those guys. That's it. That's where peacetime, that's where it stops.
And Tom says, no permanent rank above 06. Flag rank comes when assigned to a specific command slot that needs it, then revert to 06 when it's retired.
I can do it. I do that for 07, but I'm perfectly okay with that. But I don't, in a peacetime military, why do you need a shit ton of force? Why do you need any force stars?
You don't. It's all political.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, the politicians in the services are the ones that are most likely going to survive the 20% purge.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, great. Academy types either excellent or incompetent, one or the other.
I've heard of some good academy, both naval and West Point. I've heard of, but quite honestly, the ones that I've run across with the rings have been incompetent to mediocre.
Yeah.
Every one of the Mustangs I work with would literally run rings around an academy grade.
Yeah, Sarah, that's a good point. A bunch of good officers get out at lieutenant colonel or commander.
They have to.
Yeah, because they look up, see the political nonsense, and don't want to do it.
Don't they still have an up and out on officers?
Yeah,
either up or out. You either get promoted or get out.
Yeah,
I think that.
But you can drag an 06 career out to 40 years if you were a Mustang.
Oh wow, you know that.
Or 41 in one case. So he gets 102% of his base pay. But
and academy, in my experience, are complete incompetent to mediocre.
Yeah. A friend of mine was he was an 05 ship command, had a destroyer, did a good tour, was #1 rated out of the Desron, and retired immediately as soon as the CO tour was over. And he went back to school, got his PhD. because, and he told me point blank, he said, I do not want to go through the bullshit to try to make 06. And he said, even if I make it, what am I going to do? He said, maybe I get one tour as a Desron CO. But after that, it's all political.
Mhm.
And he said, I don't want to do that shit.
Yeah. Apparently, up or out is for both officers and enlisted. I knew it was for enlisted. I didn't know about officers.
Promoter perish needs to perish. Yeah. Well, the problem, Kermit, is
You get to a certain rank, and promotion requires more on your oral technique than it does about how good an officer you are.
well, not only officers enlisted.
Oh yeah.
We've lost good people because they were working out of rate, and they simply couldn't promote because they couldn't test well.
Well, that's why I had to go. Finally, had to go Cav Scout.
Yeah.
Is I was a small arms specialist when I first went. My initial MOS in 1985 was 45 Bravo. 45 Bravo 10 tested to 30, which is small arms specialist, basically a gunsmith. And what I just quickly discovered was the division maintenance where the smithy was in 1985 was full of a whole bunch of people who were happy to be there.
Yeah.
It was Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, with an hour to 2 hour lunch, weekends and holidays off. They didn't want to get out.
Yeah.
And our TO&E called for a certain number of, and I couldn't promote. I had to go to cavalry just to promote.
Well, and somebody that we both know that I kind of mentored, he was an E5 and couldn't make E6 because he was working out of rate. He was literally in a totally separate category and organization from what his actual rate was.
I racked up a hell of a lot of promotion points my first year.
Yeah.
I did. I went everything that would get me promotion points, I did. And the first sergeant vice said, Mac, you're not going to get, there's no place for you to go. There has to be an open slot. And I said, well, which one do I have to kill? He said, Mac?
Yeah.
Buddy of mine over at cavalry says, so I went over to cavalry, and that's how I became, Cav Scout.
Yeah. Yeah, Rick, that's we've seen that happen too. In-rate lead made CPO and was filling Master Chief billets as a maintenance supervisor, but never made senior chief. Got screwed over. Yeah. That happened quite a bit. One of my best friends was black, made E7, and was told point blank to make E8, he needed to get a disassociated tour as an E8. They wanted to send him shipboard. And he went, why? I don't want to go to ship. I'm perfectly happy in an aviation squadron.
Doesn't matter because we have stupid rules.
He never made E8. Of course, he also had a good enough part-time job that didn't make any difference because when he retired on 20, his part-time job became his full-time job with United Airlines, and he was a fully qualified A&P.
Yeah.
No, but the maintenance shop, division maintenance shop, in 85, 86, was everybody there liked it. It was
Take care, Kermit.
you drew cards and fixed the firearms that on the cards.
Yeah.
And you take an hour, 2 hour lunch, as long as you've got your 5 cards done a day. And weekends off, 5 o'clock, everybody went home. They were happy.
Yeah. All the benefits of being military with none of the drawbacks.
Yeah. Yeah, Jim, we knew what you were talking about. Although a 50 bag would be something else. Yeah, Mike. Corman couldn't make chief because he had all green side time. And that was what was even stupider. because if you were Greenside Corpsman, you were effectively what's called an IDC, Independent Duty Corpsman, which is the top 1%. But they can't promote.
But since he wasn't on boats,
Yeah. Well, and we ran into that. Yeah, it is so stupid, Jim, and no question. Well, we ran into that in a number of other situations too, where people that were experts in their field, because they worked for a different organization, and they kept getting bounced around, sent here, sent there, sent somewhere else, TAD, they did not get the write-ups that they needed. I mean, a friend of ours who is a linguist is staring at retirement as an E6, even though she has had multiple disassociated tours. But I think the reason she's still an E6 is those disassociated tours. Yep, Rick, same thing for sub-duty corpsmen. You had E6s, very few E7s on subs, and they were all IDCs. They could do everything except crack a brain pan. And hell, half of them probably could have done that if they'd have needed to.
no, the Swabbies had done that all on their own.
Well, yes. Let's see what's in
But
here.
the corpsman actually had a good shot at putting it back together.
Yeah.
It's like my my doctor when I was lifting weights. I got to a point where my grip wasn't good enough. I had arthritis in my hands. My grip wasn't good enough to hold the bar when I was doing deadlifts. And I was talking to the doctor and said, I'm going to start doing the alternate grip where it's, you hold the bar properly one way and pass backwards so it rotates into your hand. He said, that's fine. He lifts weights too. He said, that's fine. Understand that there's a not insignificant chance of a bicep tear lifting it that way. He said, and knowing you'll tear a bicep. And when you do, I'll have the ortho put it back with a nail gun. I'll use straps. I'll use straps.
Yeah, Carlton, that's true too. Although I did have a friend of mine who was a 06 DI recruiter, Jim. Yeah. The duties, this is what's so frustrating about the military. And especially having been a Mustang and seeing it from both sides. But he was a Naval Academy grad, a good one. He was a former submarine CO, did well, went to the Subron as the chief of staff, did well. And because he said something in a meeting, he got told point blank by the 2-star, you just might as well retire because you just shot your admiral, any chance of admiral in the foot.
I posted a meme.
So he put his retirement papers in, and they tried to screw with him. They were going to make him ride a decommissioned submarine from Norfolk all the way to Bremerton, Washington, through the canal.
Why? He's retiring. Why?
Because they have to have somebody on board.
Oh.
So they were going to put an E6 or 06 on board to ride a decommissioned submarine. Yeah.
They didn't have a junior captain that needed to practice?
Nope.
Or they did. They just thought it'd be
It'd be
funnier
fun.
to make him do it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the sort of thing that I would think that your first time ever ship captain, that's the sort of thing you'd hand him to get to practice.
Well, there's nothing to do because the boat's decommissioned. The only reason they're riding it is it's still a Navy asset.
All the accountability, none of the power to do anything to change it.
Yeah, he'll have fun, Julie.
Where's he going to basic?
He's
Julie,
probably going to Fort Jackson.
Julie said nephew just signed with the Army. He's got boot camp in August. Where is he going to basic? Raptor, sounds like the upper echelons of the officer corps is just a mean girls club with high tech weapons. Have you ever read about the time in papal history where the Borgias were in charge?
Yeah. Yes.
The poisoning and backstabbing that the Borgias did during that stretch of popes.
Yeah.
It's child's play compared to what
Yeah.
a whole bunch of stars desperate for their jobs could do.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of which, since we're talking about it, Fred Hughes snuck one by us.
Oh, he did.
He's got the third book in his Heroes of Britannia out. And in book 3, it's called Heroes Destiny. He does talk quite a bit about the backstabbing at high levels. If you haven't read Fred, he's a good writer. He's a former submariner. So we don't kid him too much about that. He'll roast.
Depends on where he goes. Honestly, they still do basic at Fort Drum.
I don't think so. I think Jackson's the only place they do basic for the Army.
Oh no, they do. Hell, they're still doing it at Fort Sill. If your MOS is, at least as far as I know, they split up the forts depending on MOS. If you're artillery MOS, you go to basic at Fort Sill. If you're infantry, you go to Fort Benning.
Didn't know that.
I guess it's Benning, whatever the hell Benning is these days.
Because the Marines only have Paris Island and San Diego.
Nope, because I was
and the Navy's only got Great Lakes now.
In
You
'85.
mispronounce it as great mistakes.
Yeah, great mistakes.
Fort Leonard Wood. Yeah, that would be motor and mechanics. General population, Little Wood, Jackson. One stop. OSUT. Tom Riley says OSUT at Sill, Benning, and a few others. OSUT has one stop unit training.
Gen Pop at Leonard Wood and Jackson. Yeah.
If I'd have gone in as a cavalry MOS, I would have done my basic at Fort Campbell, I think, or Fort Knox, Campbell or Knox. Since I was REMF, I did at Fort Jackson.
Yeah, Richard, that was in 81. It was Fort Gordon, but that was a long time ago now.
Gordon was signals and comms, I think, but don't quote me on that.
Once, Greg says the flag ranks explained. 1 star is the equivalent of a second lieutenant.
You're a new general officer, and this is the rank they see if you have any ability to progress. Well, the 1 stars that I've met tend to be the reincarnation of the majors. They don't really have a lot of power.
Yeah.
They've got authority, but not a lot of power. And they're running around going mucka, 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 mucka.
Yeah. Yeah, Jim, that's the Navy 06 SEAL in charge of special warfare training got railroaded. Yes, very much so. Over the Buds candidate who died from the use of performance-enhancing drugs.
Oh, no, a SEAL was using steroids. My shocked face. Oh, no.
Oh, he was using a lot of steroids.
A SEAL was using steroids.
And they actually don't want them to do that.
Oh, I know. They never have.
Yeah.
That's like the amount of creatine being consumed during Special Force qualification test is mind-blowing. The a urinalysis during Robin Sage would come up, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, Greg. 2 stars, the equivalent of being a captain or 03. You kind of know what you're doing as a general officer, and you can be left alone. 3 star, the equivalent of a major lieutenant colonel. Same effect. Yeah.
Tom, that's our boy. Tom probably be the SEAL's literary agent is probably under investigation too, right?
Yeah, that would not surprise me. You know, I'm old enough that the SEALs that I knew never talked outside their community.
No.
And most of them, even today, won't talk.
Special Forces,
Yeah.
known as silent because you didn't get used to be Special Forces. Green Berets didn't talk about the crap they did.
Yeah.
Now you got SEALs. I shot Bin Laden. Shut up.
Yeah.
But Jim, I'll point out you're old enough that those people you're talking about, they didn't talk to anybody because they hadn't even invented the telephone yet.
Oh, shut up.
Greg, you don't make 3 4-star unless the other 3 4-stars agree you can be part of their club, right?
Yeah.
Right.
First rule of stolen valor: anybody who claims to be a SEAL is a yes. And if you get what you think is a false SEAL, all you have to do is call the SEAL museum down in Fort Pierce, Florida.
Well, there are plenty of web pages that will be happy to verify if he's a SEAL or not.
Well, Patches Watson down there has a list of every active duty and every former UDT and SEAL. And he'll be more than happy to talk to you.
If it turns out he is a SEAL, you're not going to find out much more than yes, he is.
Well, and
Okay.
the quickest way to do it is all you need to do is ask them what their bud's class was.
Class number.
If they immediately spout it, they probably were a SEAL.
And if they tell you that it's classified, so it's not under DD 214, they're full of shit.
Yeah.
Same thing with Special Forces. If you got a green beanie that tells you that going to Special Forces qualification was it's not in there because it's classified, bullshit.
Yeah.
Morons.
Yeah, Jim, you may have enlisted as a cook. That was not where you ended up.
Yeah, Massa accepted. Mike Massa, you know he's a SEAL, but that's all you know.
Yeah.
Because Mike is, what, 80s, 90s?
Yeah, 90s, 80s
Good
and
SEAL.
90s. Yeah, we did our jobs. You know, that's the bottom line. I mean, all three of us are veterans. We did our jobs. Our careers today don't hang on what we did then.
We did a lot of trouble if it did.
Yeah, no shit.
No. We got folks that aren't military, so let's deviate from the baffle
The
gab.
deviation?
From the baffle gab. What do we got? What do we got that's not military for the folks in the chat that aren't military?
Well, weather.
Oh, God, weather. I heard.
The Wichita River is out of banks. The Red River is
9 feet
9 feet
over?
over, yeah. So it's at flood stage.
Yay.
And somebody posted a picture of the I-35 bridge across the Red yesterday. And it's interesting.
I'm fixing to look up the, y'all do realize that there's a constant update on Texas reservoir levels, right?
Yeah. Wally has serial number 1 available tomorrow. Yes.
Oh, we do. Yes. If you liked the high fantasy of the 80s, I think you'll love Wally's book.
Takes almost from 5 to 10 feet going over the spillway. Yeah. Our little local lake is over the spillway.
Oh, boys over spillway.
So all the rattlesnakes are running for high ground. So anybody that lives anywhere close is going, shit.
Lake Arrowhead, as of an hour ago, was 87.9% full. Lake Kickapoo is now 89.5. It's not even full yet. I'm hoping this last burst of rain will fill up the lakes before we get to summer.
Well, the problem is it's not hitting on the watershed.
I would love to go into summer with full lakes.
Yeah.
That would be lovely.
Oh, Cuyahoga Valley in Ohio flooded last weekend. 18 inches of water in the scenic railway. Oof.
Yeah, waking up to the storm this morning made me very thankful that before moving here, I remembered an offhand comment Jim made about, being smart enough to buy a house above the dam.
Yeah. Yes.
I know Greenbelt well. I used to patrol Greenbelt because it was the only lake with a beach and a panhandle allowed beer.
Yeah.
Mm. I'll be surprised if it's more than ankle deep.
Yeah. Can we bundle some up and send it to Prescott? No, sorry. It only goes to the east. We can't send it back
Cool.
west.
I wasn't far off. Greenbelt Lake is 9.6% full. 9 single digits.
Ooh. That sucks.
Its capacity is about 60,000 acre feet. It's got 5,000 acre feet.
And that's primary water supply.
For Clarendon, Childress,
Chillicothe, yeah. A whole bunch of C's.
that's not good. Catastrophic drought. No shit, James. Y'all drilling wells, I hope?
Yeah.
On the Red or Salt Fork?
Well, if they're drilling wells, how far down are they going to have to go to get to the aquifer?
Well, it's the Ogallala, so it's deeper. You have to drill deeper every day.
Yeah. Well, that's like California. My friend's dad, had been there since the 1930s, 5,000 acres. Never had a problem with water until the last two administrations of Brown and Newsom. Ran out of water. And he wanted to have the well drillers come in and drill him some wells. And they said, well, it'll cost you $50,000 and we're not going to guarantee any water.
James says apparently permitting process through the state has halted well drilling.
Damn.
Childress is going to be in a world of hurt.
Yeah.
You guys going to be okay? Well, Rita will find a spot for you. She loves you and Donna. If you need to move this away, Rita will find a spot for you.
Yeah. Yeah, Rick. California ran out because they dumped all the rain to save the Delta Spelt.
Don't get me started on those idiots.
Yeah. Well, that and friggin' San Francisco, they have their own water supply that none of the state has access to but San Francisco.
I have wheels. Now, I was talking more about houses and land. Rita will be quite thrilled to look for a house for you guys. Because, I said Greenbelt Water Authority, which made Greenbelt Lake. I know it's Clarendon, Memphis, I think, and definitely Childress.
Yeah,
and that's easily 20,000, 30,000 people needing.
Well, there's Chillicothe too. It runs all the way down.
I think it's Chillicothe.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that. That's 30,000, 40,000 people that need water, and there's only 5,000 acre feet, which is not a lot of water.
Not anywhere near enough.
I look at house listings in your area occasionally. No plans to move, just browsing.
Sarah, y'all would definitely be welcome too.
Oh, Quanta 2, bloody hell.
Damn.
Woo! That's a lot on that one little lake. That lake is never really big. That lake is never, Greenbelt Lake is never a big lake to begin with.
Raptor says, Luther and Zoran for 28. Couldn't be any worse than what some of the Democrats are talking about running.
This early in the game, anybody who listens to what the Democrats say they're going to run, I don't. There are moves within moves going on.
Yeah, Tom, y'all would be welcome too. I mean, Sam's already down here, so it'll get you closer.
Kentucky seems like it would be super pretty and amazing.
It's got trees and it's got more tornadoes than we have.
There's a lot of green stuff there.
Some of it was 7 leaves even.
We enjoy visiting Tom and Robin. We do love them to death. Love visiting them. Louisville.
No.
the number of guns I took with me would have gotten when we accidentally went through Illinois. I was looking at 9 felonies. I was still not armed enough for Louisville. I wanted a rocket launcher. I did. I wanted my Bradley back.
Yeah.
I would drive through Louisville in a Bradley.
Yeah, California stand has turned into a cesspit when you start rooting for Lex Luthor and his hijacked missile in the first Superman movie. Yeah. People trying to leave California right now are having problems because they can't, because there's nowhere to go.
Charles says Bradley would be up on blocks and stripped while you were at the con. No kidding.
Oh, God. That sounds like the LIE up in New York. We had, back in the 80s, we had to go out to a meeting at Republic Field. And they flew us into JFK. So
They couldn't get you any closer.
No. Well, we refused to go into EWR. So we rented a car and drove out. And we were going out. There was a Mercedes sitting on the side of the road with the blinkers on. That afternoon, when we came back in, same car sitting there.
Most of it, anyway.
Down to the frame. The rest of the car was gone.
Mm-hmm.
They had stripped that thing in broad daylight on the side of the Long Island Expressway.
And I'd be shocked if it took them longer than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
We were driving. It was dark when we left Louisville. We were driving along, happy, Rita and I just jabbering away. And the GPS said, "Welcome to Louisville." And Rita went, "What?" I went, "Or welcome to Illinois." I went, "What?" And Rita started pulling over and said, "Baby, what are you doing? We've got to put the guns in the trunk." "Doesn't matter.
Drive.
Just keep going. We need to get the hell out of the state."
Yeah. Yeah.
Welcome to Illinois. What the hell?
California is trying to now tax people for up to 10 years after they leave the state of California.
You can kiss my hairy white ass.
Yeah. Yeah, Rafter. Sections of Philadelphia, yes.
Welcome to Illinois. What the shit?
I have friends that live in Philadelphia, and they will not venture out of their areas of town. One of them lives in the Italian section.
Yeah.
And
South Philly.
Huh?
South Philly.
South Philly, yeah. And that's where they stay. And another set lives up in North Philly, and that's where they stay. They don't go wander around.
No. Philadelphia, more than most other cities in the country, is more a collection of neighborhoods.
Yeah.
That used to be smaller towns that just got absorbed.
Yep.
And yeah, you do not go wandering from one to the other willy-nilly.
Yep.
I'm just no. It's that GPS went, "Welcome to Illinois," and both of us went, "What the shit? How the hell do we wind up in Illinois?"
Yeah, Steve, they have tried that. However, if a person retires, even if they served in California, if they retire outside the state, the federal government will not pay California any taxes for them. But they have tried that with veterans. Yes.
Speaking of San Antonio, the whole Angry Cops kerfuffle, I did not realize that Unsubscribed was based out of
San Antonio.
Bernie. Yeah. It's 40 miles northwest of San Antonio. That's where Unsubscribed. It's like, hell, I may need to go make a pilgrimage.
Tom says, that's why I want to go back to North Dakota. You leave your car on the side of the road, somebody might fix it before you get back.
North Dakota's got its good points, which are usually buried by December in 30 feet of snow.
December? How about October?
Okay.
And it doesn't thaw out until May.
It's state rest. Got good points, all buried under the snow.
Yeah.
No, I was because Unsubscribed has made it their Those of you who don't know, Unsubscribed is a bunch of vets and vet adjacent. And they have decided that the Buffalo public school system has insulted them. And they are making life hell for the Buffalo public school system.
Yeah.
So I'm watching this, cheering the entire way. And I find, it came up on, they're out of Bernie, Texas. And it's like, I may need to make a pilgrimage.
Road trip.
What if they let a busted up old original blogger on there?
Yeah, Rick. That's what my friends in South Philly say. It's the same house on the Jersey Shore for the same weekend every year, or the same week. They both went to Philadelphia School of Art. And that's where they stay. If they go on vacation, it's not in Pennsylvania.
I love, if you haven't seen the latest Unsubscribed update on Buffalo, it's glorious. Because when the fat electrician lets his autism show,
yeah,
and shows up with a 3-ring binder full of data he's mined on the Buffalo public school system, it's going to be a bad day for somebody.
Yep.
And then they were talking, and Aaron Cup said something. And a fat electrician said, "You need a FOIA request on that?" Yeah, why not? It's on the way.
Yeah. Yep. They're going to take care of problems. Yeah, Wally, I can believe it. 36 inches overnight. Yeah. North Dakota.
Has its points.
Said.
All buried under snow.
Yeah. Yeah, Rafter, Philadelphians are about like New Yorkers.
Not nearly so pleasant.
Yeah. Which is not saying much.
No. Philadelphians are not nearly as pleasant as New Yorkers.
See, the thing about Philadelphians is they believe the further northwest and or south of the city you go, the further you get from civilization. I beg to differ. If you want civilization, get out of a city.
Yeah.
Cities are the antithesis of civilization.
I'm from that neck of the woods. I got the hell away from that part of the country.
Your Honor, the state rests.
Yeah. Bernie is not that far from Bandera, no.
In Texas distances, no.
No, it's not. If you're from the Northeast, yes, it's a distance.
If you're from one of those counties up in the Northeast,
yeah.
Rita tells me they're called states, but I don't believe her.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
if I can spit a pumpkin seed across your state, it's a county.
Yeah. Pennsylvania might be a bit of a stretch for that.
Yeah, definitely stay away from West Philly.
Rhode Island. We've got cities bigger than hell. Houston's bigger than Connecticut.
Yeah.
If you sneeze while walking, you'll miss Rhode Island.
Yeah.
And that's a state? No, that's a county. That's a county.
Ramped the entitlement up to 11 on the Karen. Yeah.
What?
And that's why they're your neighbors, not mine, Raptor. Oh, Delaware is just another stupid state. It's
a county.
And it's so damn small. It's not funny.
Again,
yeah.
If we've got cities in a state bigger than your entire state, you don't have a state.
Yeah, we got counties bigger than half their states.
No kidding.
Probably more than half.
Yeah. Well, not only that, they've got hundreds of police officers. Some of these counties have
Brewster County, 4.
Yeah. For the entire county.
Mm-hmm.
People tend to take care of things themselves.
Of course they do.
Because it may be 20-minute response if the guy's on the other side of the county or the girl.
Mm-hmm.
They're coming hard, but it's still 20 minutes.
Plenty of time to take care of business and hide the evidence.
Yeah.
Rhode Islanders have the same issue down here that folks from England do.
Yeah.
That's like, I can't believe you. It's so far. Well, how far is it? 20 miles.
Shit, that doesn't even get you across town.
Oh my God, you have to drive 20 miles. We drove 75 for catfish.
Yeah. Well, I remember your little snide comment about me driving from Fredericksburg to Alpine and back.
Yeah.
It's a side trip.
Yes. We had this side trip from Fredericksburg to Alpine. Oh my God, 20 miles is so far.
I still remember when I was stationed
Smart
in
man,
North
Raptor.
Charleston.
So yeah.
I was stationed in North Charleston. I drove to my parents' house north of Philadelphia and back in a regular weekend.
Oh, yeah.
I used to drive from Amarillo to Itchy Paw at least once a week to visit my grandmother.
Yeah.
And that's a 4-hour trip.
Yeah. Cottle County has a sheriff and one deputy, and that's it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Wally. We're just down the road from you, and you're in Kansas City. Yeah. Because that's the way we do things out here.
Tom, I drove further than that to get bookshelves in Cedar last time I was down. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, folks from England. I can't. Oh my God, it's 20 miles. I haven't seen my grandparents in years. They're 20 miles away. Seriously?
John,
Seriously?
when you cross the Louisiana border, the first mileage marker you see on I-10 is 759. That's how far it is to El Paso.
And that's the easy way. If you want to get from Beaumont to Amarillo, the long way, that's a lot more complicated.
300 miles took you 6 hours on the turnpike? Jesus.
Crossing PA.
Yeah.
Amateur.
The speed limits are lower, and it's always under construction. And don't even get me started on the number of idiot drivers.
That'd be about 3.5 hours out here.
Yeah.
2 hours for dinner each way. Never seen. Yeah, right. See,
Yeah.
I just. Oh my God, they're 20 miles away. I haven't seen them in years.
I mean, we've driven 2 hours to have supper, and then drove 2 hours home. Didn't think anything about it.
Again, Bill's Catfish Shack is how far away?
45 miles. And we're not the long distance drivers to get there. I was talking to him last time we were up there, or time before last. And I asked him, I said, how much
Oh God.
how much territory do your customers come from? He says, well, we got some people that come from Kansas, 120 miles, and they come down once a month at a minimum to have catfish.
Just to get catfish.
So they're driving, 2.5, 3 hours to have catfish, then drive 2.5, 3 hours home. 90 minutes to get from
Good
Bassett
catfish.
to Leander. Yeah.
Well, it's hell from Tiny Town to Mears.
Yeah.
It's at Medicine Park, going to the plantation or the Riverside Cafe, Medicine Park. That's 50 miles away. Mears is 60.
60, 70, yeah.
Um,
And we do that routinely. Don't even think about it.
Go down to Decatur for Sweetie Pie's chicken fried ribeyes.
Yeah.
That's 100 miles.
Yeah, about that.
100 miles for a chicken fried ribeye.
Yeah, John
They're
David.
from Texas.
Idiot drivers do abound. Yes, they are everywhere, including locally.
No kidding. They're getting worse.
I swear the average IQ on the road got chopped in half after the COVID lockdown.
No kidding. Chicken fried. Yeah, Tom. We haven't taken your Sweetie Pies?
We told him about it, but he didn't go.
Yeah, chicken fried ribeyes.
Yes.
They're excellent.
I'm drooling already.
They used to do potatoes. What they did is they started a 55-gallon drum of pine pitch boiling. And they wrapped the potatoes in tinfoil and then brown wrapping paper and dropped them in the boiling pitch. And when you order a potato, they scooped it out. OSHA shut that down, I think.
Yeah.
Party poopers.
Yeah.
It was good.
I believe it.
They do at Sweetie Pie's Ribeyes. It's world famous chicken fried ribeye, and it's damn good. Although I like their steak kebabs a little better.
Yeah. Well, it's that chicken fried ribeye is just too damn big for me to eat anymore.
Yep. Well, and you got hell. There's Roosters.
Yeah,
Sweet Pies is on the courthouse square in Decatur.
yeah.
And you got Roosters. And a little Argentinian grandmother will show up every morning with a basket full of empanadas.
Yeah.
And she had, I think it's either Roosters or the coffee shop.
It's a coffee shop.
They buy her empanadas.
Yeah.
And when the empanadas are gone, that's it. She will not make any more that day. Oh,
We will, Jim.
empanadas are good.
He wants to know next time we go to Sweetie Pie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We'll do that.
Hell yes. Sweetie Pies is a hell of a chicken fried ribeyes.
It's $8.80 now. Used to be $7.59. Somebody must have recalculated the mileage. Either that or they've added mileage to get around Houston because I-10 used to go through Houston.
I'd be willing to drive farther to go around it instead of through it.
I remember going down to Harris County on inmate pickup, inmate transport, going there to pick up an inmate, and I had a rookie, and they swore to me this rookie was switched on. He knew what he was doing, and I told him, when you get to exit either 50 or 60, when you're coming up on this exit, is either 50 or 60, which wake me up. We'll do, Sarge. You wake my happy butt up, and we'll go straight to the hotel. Will do, Sarge. So I'm dozing in the side seat, and I hear recalculating from the idiot GPS, and we're on I-10. It's like, Scooter, what the hell? Did you pass 60? He did. So we're on I-10. I don't think you understand it. The part where he got off on I-10 westbound, you can't turn around for about 50 miles.
Yeah. First turnoff is at Katy.
So 50 miles later, we get turned back. I said, all right, we are going to get off at whatever exit. Take that exit number, whatever. I'm rooting around the back trying to find a reload. Don't ask me why. And I hear the idiot GPS rerouting. Pull over. I'm driving. Pull over. Sergeants don't drive. Pull the fuck over.
If you hear Zydeco, you went too far.
No kidding. I'd have gotten out. Zydeco, getting out. There's good food here. Shut up.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, that would be a road trip to Shreveport.
We could do that.
Yeah.
After surgery.
After surgery.
Yes, please.
Well, Lawton is apparently the only, according to Rita, according to my little sweetheart, Lawton's the only decent place for Indian food in the area. So guess who goes up to Lawton? I'll get a call. I'm in Lawton. Okay. Why are you in Lawton? Indian food. Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of good eating.
Yeah, as we show for it.
There's a Decatur in Texas. There is. Neat
Yep.
little town. Neat little town.
There's also an Athens, a Paris.
Cut and shoot.
Yeah.
Gun Barrel City. I like cut and shoot.
Yeah. I still think one of my favorites, though, is Y City, Arkansas. Population 3. One house on each. There's one house on each side and one in the middle of the Y. That was it.
Well, Pleasant Valley, east of us, didn't want to get swallowed up by the guy living there. Didn't want to get swallowed up by the ever encroaching Wichita Falls. So he incorporated. And Pleasant Valley has a post office. It's in his house.
Yep.
We've got Bug Tussle, Texas. We've got Bug Scuffle, Texas. People wonder where I came up with Bug Scuffle. That's actually, there's several of them. But the one that I always talk about, Bug Scuffle in Bug Scuffle County, is from a abandoned town west of here.
Yeah, Rick. Lancaster County, PA has Intercourse, Paradise, and Blue Ball.
Yes.
Big Bone Lick, Kentucky. Yeah. Yes, there are a number of interesting names.
I'll bet those, they can't keep city limit signs up for lower money.
No. No. Well, folks, we've wasted another hour of your
Holy
time
crap,
today.
we have.
7 points, yeah.
There's also a Malta, Texas, which we go through every time we're heading east of here.
Yeah.
There's Malta. There's Rome. There's all good. Oh, well, Toad Hop, Indiana, probably about 18. Yeah, about right.
Well, it depends on how many puppies the dog had.
Right. Y'all be safe, okay?
Be safe, folks. Take care.
If you hear hissing sound, it's me charging up the scuba tanks. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. If you hear a rattling sound, check your 12 gauge before you step out the door.
Tom wants to know wants us to let him know if our toes start getting webbed. No kidding.
Yeah.
Start going gills.
Remember, folks, don't sweat the petty stuff. Don't pet the sweaty stuff. And we'll see you on Thursday.
See you Thursday, guys.
Bye.
Wait, it is Tuesday, isn't it?
Yeah.
Something.
Forgot what day of the